what takes us 30, 60 days to negotiate.
Right.
It's like, we just did all that.
Exactly. To the last penny.
Great.
Yeah. But if you really open up your mind about, if everybody does that, it says that this data-driven industry and technology is going to just take over. And we don't know to what extent. It definitely needs to be regulated, definitely needs to be controlled. Quality control is going to be a big thing. But no matter what is coming. Hello, everyone. My name is Hamid Kohan. I'm the CEO of LegalSoft and also LawPractice.ai, a new company in the area of the developing AI solutions for law practices. And I'm happy to join this session with Shawn Sasooness from Sasooness Law Group. We've been working together with Shawn for many years now, and he's been extremely successful in working with us. And Shawn, welcome to the episode.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So, Shawn, the topic of the day is essentially AI. Me and you've been talking about before there was even people like EvenUp or so forth, how the AI can impact the law firm and much potential it has, scary it is, and how we need to get in the front of it and not just be behind. What has been so far your experience with using AI for your practice?
Look, AI, it's one of those things that you can't live with, you can't live without. And it's hard to make a jump. It's hard to accept it. But you have to do it. Especially in the practice of law. There are so many tools, and that was a scary thing. It's where do you start? It's so overwhelming. So my experience is, look, just find anything and dip your toe in there and then do the next thing and the next. So the experience has been good, difficult. It's kind of like, is it working? Is it not working? Do I want to use? I don't even want to use AI for, demands or medical records, but you have to, and I think, have some discipline because it's coming whether you like it or not.
Right.
So, the experience has been, some good, some bad, scary, but you got to take advantage one way or another. And we try to do the best we can.
Great. Yeah, that's absolutely the case because it reminds me of the old days of the .com. So, and I was around when the .com era came, and yeah, so we wouldn't know which .com to go to do what, but we knew they're just growing daily, and we need to migrate to it. It's the same thing with AI, much faster. Every time I turn around, there is like 10 AI solutions in the legal industry that I haven't even heard about, and it goes on daily and daily and daily. So you have to be exploring, but you got to be also very cautious. One, from quality of the solution, the accuracy, and the migrations and all of that. And it's going to be definitely challenging. Like in the past, when I started implementing sophisticated CRM solutions like FileVine, Clio, Lidify, those people, and the law firms were just going like, this is a lot. This is too much. And now I don't think any successful firm can live without it because you're going to screw up if you don't have one of these solutions. And I don't know of any firm that is actually even using 100% of the capability of those CRMs. They're probably using like 25% of it at the most. So this wave of AI is just going to be 10 times more than that CRM base and big variety. What part of AI have you so far tested within your firm that you've seen some results? What kind of AI?
I mean, first off, it's every time you come to learn something and try something and implement something, the next thing is here. So it's like, how the hell do you keep up? So look, it takes a little bit of discipline it's like, all right, let's try this. Let's dedicate to this. Let's true, because you said yourself, every day you look, there is something new. Then people that are not tech savvy into AI, it's really overwhelming, right? It really is. We've tried demands using AI. medical records summary in the personal injury space, medical records chronology. We've messed around with AI companies that do discovery intake. We've looked into intake, but I don't think the intake is ready yet. So it's like, for example, it's at a law firm, you have people doing intakes, especially if you're high volume and you have people, actual people on the phone doing intakes. So what AI could do is it could take me, replicate me, my voice, my attitude, my emotions, personality, and have me do intake for hundreds of clients every single day. But I don't think that's ready yet, but we've explored it. Those are the ones that we use.
Yes. Exactly. The thing I was talking about being sort of a scary with all of these new solutions keep coming up and so forth is it is not reasonable to expect that any law practice going to subscribe to 8, 10, 20 different AI solutions. And I think that's where the industry is going wrong. Because like when people like the Even Up came up and said, we do demands. Okay, you run a practice. Demands is a smack in the middle of your case process. So what happened to intake? What happened to the treatment setup and communicating with the client and medical records and all of this, and then all the way to lien reductions and settlement. So in the law practice.ai that we created, we're trying to aggregate all of this together. It says, look, you go into one place, just like the CRM. You go to FileMine or Clio, you're doing everything from initial intake data all the way to the settlement and disbursement. Imagine if you had to log into like 8 places to get there. Everybody would giving up and says, I'm not doing this. I'm going to go back to my Google Sheet and start doing it in Google Sheet.
That's a challenging question.
Sure.
So I actually shot a video about this just yesterday. What was it about? It was about, I shot a video. When you're looking to hire a lawyer, do you want a lawyer that specializes exactly in that area of law that you're looking for? Or are you going to go hire a lawyer that takes on all different types of cases? So my challenging question to you is, law practice AI is, really working to bring it all together. How is that going to be successful and work as well as maybe working with one company? That's because right now that's how it is. These companies that we're exploring, this company only focuses on AI for intake. This company focuses on using AI for demands. This company uses. How are you guys going to bring that all together better than these individuals?
Because we only, me, I'm always believer of a single practice type focus. Like if you do PI, just do PI, don't do employment and workers' comp and whatever. So be the best PI attorney somebody can hire. In the law practice.ai, our focus is personal injury. So personal injury intake, personal injury document collections, medical summaries, chronologies, demands, even all the way to lien reductions and so forth, but personal injury. So if you're having a personal injury practice, we fulfill all the needs of the AI that you need for your practice, right parallel to your CRM that you're using. So you're using a CRM to manage the case and using AI to speed up and intensify the process of getting the case done. So we're not doing, for example, I don't know, like estate planning AI or employment AI. So that's how we're trying to stay focused. So we serve right now just personal injury. And that's itself is big enough challenge to do that and deliver a useful tool instead of jumping around and doing like 8 different practice
Can I
tasks.
ask you another challenging question?
Sure.
I just want to know these things for myself. So
Absolutely. I'm sure everybody else is interested in the same thing.
attorneys that resist. So attorneys that say, this AI is bullshit. No, I don't want to, I want to word. It's a difference when I do it. I want to do it myself. Like clients will know if it's AI and, the quality is not going to be the same. Cause I know a lot of people out there that when something new comes out, it's like, no, I'm going to stick to this proven way of doing things. I'm the attorney. I'm going to talk to the client. I'm going to handle this. AI, I don't want to get into that. What's your response to those people, and what do you think about that? Because a lot of people think that way. So absolutely, older firms that have been successful, it's hard to make that transition.
Every industry has the same thing, but we call it in the tech industry, we call it adaptability. People need to adapt, and they don't have a choice. When we went to cell phones, we had to adapt to it. When we went to shopping online, I one of personally, even though I was in tech, I had a problem go and buy clothes online. It's like, what the heck are you talking about? I need to go to Nordstrom and try it out, and I, look myself in the mirror with the clothes. Now I do 99% of my shopping online. So every one of these things, or if you would have told somebody 50 years ago that you're going to do all your banking online, they would say, are you crazy? There's no way. I'm not going to log into my account from my cell phone. It's going to get hacked. They're going to take all my money. So to me, it's just like it doesn't matter what people think, it's going to happen to them. And whoever adopts first gains the most. And they become better. It's like, how we say nowadays, is this candidate or this attorney or this banker is tech savvy or not? Because we want the tech savvy guys. So who is the tech savvy? The guy who adopted the early time and got to become expert on those technologies. So AI is going to be, at some point, you don't want to work with a professional, being a doctor or lawyer or CPA, that is not AI savvy. You're basically going to say, this guy is a phobe, I would call it. It's like because there's not AI savvy.
Interesting. You know how hard it is for people. You know why it's hard? It's not hard because they don't want to change. It's, you don't know, like, how do you adapt to, like, it's hard for attorneys to adapt to, it's really, really hard. So
It's being open-minded. It's got to be open-minded that this is not cure to all. This is not going to fix everything. This is not going to take over everything. It's a migration process. First, I start by, let's say on the intake AI. It's not going to sign up your 7-figure case with a retainer and hand it to you so you can just go sit home and collect a 7-figure settlement. It doesn't work like that. But it's going to screen the non-qualifying clients and cases. Let's start with that. At least you're not talking to people who have no case. Okay? So that helps, take some work away. And then you want to talk to people who have a case, but you need some information. So when they're on the phone, be able to collect that information so it speed things up. All of that is a progress within the AI to get to the point where you said it in the beginning, that replicates the heck out of you and becomes the clone of you and does the thing. So that's the ultimate goal, but it's not going to get there overnight, or you just waiting, sitting and wait until this technology is proven, it does that, you like it, you approve it, and then start using it. You got to start from beginning. The same thing issue people right now had, law practice AI creates, PI medical summaries, chronologies, and demands. I'm not expecting people to just close their eyes, put the case in there, get a perfect demand out, send it to the adjuster, and collect the check. Doesn't work like that. First thing is to reduce the amount of time you need to spend on something. So if you have an associate doing demands, spending 6 hours on the demand, let's at least bring that down to an hour. Have an AI do the 5 hours of the work, so they'll only not spend an hour doing final edits and checking. Right? Same thing with chronology. Same thing with the medical record. You want to intake
AI to flag something that's really good, right, and somebody
exactly. For those of people who don't know how this AI actually even gets built up, we work with firms like you where we take in like 10, 20,000 pre-recorded intake recordings of the firm talking to thousands of potential clients, and we feed it into our AI on the top of the chat GPTs and everything else. But we have our own custom data that we collect from the attorneys like yourself to train the AI. Or on the demand, take 10,000 PI demands, feed it into our system on the top of the hundreds of thousands of other demands to tweak it to what it can become eventually. But if those people who think or just don't pick up the AI because they say, oh, the demand that came out of there was not ready to go. Of course, it's not ready to go. Even if somebody in your office writes it, it's not ready to go. I've seen so many versions of the demand going back and forth between the attorney and associate or paralegal and going back and forth. No, add this, take this out. So what do you expect the AI just going to magically give you the perfect demand? No, it's not. It's just to make your process more efficient, save time, and get rid of the backlog of this stuff. Like, I know firms have like 60, 80 demands in the backlog. So they're not processing it because they don't have the resources. Demand doesn't go out, settlement doesn't come in. Now you have a cash flow issue. So that's where there's going to be a big barrier for the firms to just sitting on the sidelines saying, nah, this AI is not ready. Of course, for the perfect AI, no, it's not ready.
That's where the discipline comes in too. You got to be disciplined to, ride the wave. It's not going to be perfect, but don't give up on it. So we try to focus on that too. Just because it's not perfect, work with this because you're like learning how to use AI and, you feel like it's not ready and you just stop, you're just going to go backwards. You have to stay with this trend. And I agree. One way or another, you have to adopt it into your practice because it's coming whether you like it or not.
Right. And I think every industry is going to go through that process, not just the legal industry. Every professional industry is going to be impacted greatly with AI. But my recommendation is everybody sort of start playing with it, start getting some experience with it, build your right perspective of it, because mainly a lot of have a different perspective of it. They think there's like is an Advil. You take it and all of a sudden you don't have pain. It doesn't work like that.
What I would say is what kind of scared me early, and I made people think it's like, where do you get started? And I don't know how to use just AI. A big shift in my mindset was I don't need to know how to use ChatGPT or do this or have it. There are so many companies and resources out there that are doing it that like my whole thing is I got to sit down and I got to be on ChatGPT for, 3 hours a day, 3 days a week. I have to learn. No, there are so many companies that take advantage of these companies and these different resources that are doing that work for you. You're involved with AI just by doing that. You're ahead of the game just by doing that. You don't need to overwhelm yourself by learning exactly how it works.
Right.
That was a big mind shift for me.
The other mindset is that the more sophisticated attorneys or more competent attorneys about technology, they keep saying that all this AI that everybody's coming with the solutions, doesn't matter if it's a demand AI or intake AI. Oh, so this is just Chat GPT. It's almost like saying, yeah, is this the web? Yeah, everything's the web. But, yeah, everything's tied to Chat GPT somehow or some other AI platform. This is like Google has it, and Microsoft has it. But what the add value of the user interface, reporting, the structure, and added knowledge value that the AI system provides is another thing they just want to write it off and says, oh, so this is basically ChatGPT. So I'm just going to go online and use ChatGPT. Yeah. No, it is ChatGPT some part for every single AI platform that I know of, but did they improve the heck out of it?
And it's applied to something
specific. And they add their own data set to train their AI. It's not all ChatGPT data. There's usually a good chunk of data that they have on their own or they bought or they built.
That's a big part about AI is it's training. It's something that will continue. The more you put into it, the better it's going to get. It's not just you put something out and it spits that out. So a lot of people don't know that. A lot of people use ChatGPT and these AI services that if it's Google, just put it in and it spits out an answer. It's not Google.
No, absolutely not. It's very different. Me coming from a data background and web and so forth, is the way for people to just want to write it off. Like, it's not a big deal. It's a Chat GPT or it's Google or is it another search engine or something like that. It's not. It's very, very specific.
I'm telling you, it's like people aren't trying to write it off. They're using that as an excuse. Like they know that how serious it is, how it's I'm telling you, it's just overwhelming for people. So they're kind of they know that they shouldn't, but they are.
Right.
And like it's tough because I felt like that before. So
And those are the people who are, by the way, in the transactional law, which is like bankruptcy, immigration, estate planning. The AI just gonna take over 80% of that market because there's not much of a lawyering needs to happen. There's a lot of forms. There's a data gathering, which is they need to do anyway, and AI can do that. And then completing a lot of forms and applications and submitting them. And if there's no litigation, there's very little lawyering. So AI is just going to completely take that over. It's all going to be like a legal Zoom thing. Like when you want to set up a corporation or LLC or something like that, I don't even know where to go find a corporate attorney to open up a LLC for me. I just go to LegalZoom and 50 other places like that. And I'm like, why do I need a lawyer? Yeah, it's like a $465 and I got a company. It's like, why? So a lot of those transactional laws, which started from corporate formation and went not to this stuff, they're all going to get hit with the AI so hard.
you could trace it, use it, and you could actually grow, or it's going to take you.
Absolutely. Shawn, a lot of people, like you mentioned in the beginning, it says that even the clients are cautious of not using AI because it's not safe, it's not accurate, it hallucinates, all this other stuff. And they want to talk to the real person because they think their person, being a case manager or attorney, is smarter than AI and doesn't make mistakes, which we both know is not correct. Humans make the most mistakes. Have you seen that with the folks being resistant to not using AI?
Constantly. And how you overcome that, you embrace it. You tell them. And I've used that strategy with clients and people, not just with AI, but with for years. For example, when we went paperless,
Right.
it seems a little bit off, but similar type of concept. Yes, we're completely paperless. We don't keep anything. We use technology fully. Yes, we use AI. We use this. We use the highest technology to be the best and most up-to-date practice out there. So there are a lot of clients, staff in the office, opposing counsel, doctors that we work with, that they're afraid. They don't want to deal with AI. They don't think it's as good. How you flip it on them, and if you flip it the right way, is you embrace it and you tell them, like they'll come and say, what is this? I want to talk to a lawyer, actual person. You flip it and say, no, we use this.
Yeah, it's a tool.
We use it as a tool to make our practice better. And if you phrase it and flip it the right way, I've had almost every single person on the other side. Oh, yeah, I didn't think about that.
There's not a single attorney worldwide that is smarter than AI. It can be. Because humans are limited to what they know, what they have experienced, and what they have learned, which is limited.
So isn't AI the same way?
No, because it already starts in such a high level. Like you in your practice, I would say in the past 7 years, you litigated 5,000 cases. Your knowledge is limited to those 5,000 cases. My AI done 5 million cases.
Okay.
Who is smarter?
But what about there are so many aspects, so many, and you know that of those 5,000, that AI no way could learn without being taught.
Okay. So it gets taught. How does it get taught? Is that how did you learn? You had a bunch of cases. Some of them went really well. You learn from it. Some of them didn't go. You learn from it. But you compare them with each other. It's like, I tried this strategy of litigation in this case and had great results. I didn't do it on here and didn't have it. So you're constantly in your mind learning and comparing case by case, injury by injury, and so forth.
Client by client, emotion,
everything,
emotion,
everything.
And you hear that a lot with AI. Like, there is no emotion that a human.
Emotion is limiting factor.
Well, part of litigating cases, one of the most important aspects of a case in litigation, personal injury, is your client, who they are, and how credible.
It's called demographic. If I have a perfect demographic of my client, their education, race, age, gender, all demographics, education, past histories, past incidents, past accidents, the family dynamic. If I know all of that, there is no way that you can know all that.
If the AI knows all that,
Yeah. So I take a client,
that person,
of course, I can take a client information, very basic information, do a crazy search from multiple resources in AI. I can have my AI know that person better than that person knows himself. We can do that today. That's not like a mystery.
do you still think litigation, and real litigation, of depositions, appearing in court, going to trial, is that still an area where AI cannot overtake humans?
100% can take it over.
You think so?
What do you do with the deposition? When you go into the deposition, you read all the previous communication with this client, all the incidents, all the meetings, everything, the injuries, this and that, and your past history of doing these depositions with 500 similar cases, your base, and then you formulate the question that you want to ask and answer you want to get.
What about when I'm sitting in a deposition, and I think any good litigation attorney would tell you, but me personally, when I'm sitting in a deposition, I am looking at their eye movement, their hand movement.
What do you make you think AI can't? I force a camera into your face. It's going to give me more information that your own family can tell you about your emotions. You're scared, you're nervous, you're lying, you're dodging. AI can just look at your eyebrows and tell you that stuff. So here you go. We got talking about the personal impression. AI can do a lot more personal, and it's going to compare you with the millions of others that you can't. Because I have it in my database.
I'm gonna have to see it.
I know, but I'm saying that
How close and personal.
us into that tech side, we know where this is going. What we knew when the .com came is that we knew there's going to be Amazon.
It's just going on a whole different topic. You're not a lawyer, but you're in the legal field probably more than most lawyers. Do you think that ethics and state bars are going to put limitation? Like, for example, what you're saying is AI avatar could appear, take a full deposition, could appear in court. I'm sure you've talked to people about the limitation that you think state ethics, professional codes, and state boards are going to put on the use of AI.
Absolutely. Like everything else is going to get regulated. Sure, it's just that the people are not using their imagination of where this thing is going. I have the luxury of being both in tech and law and all this other stuff. So I'm not afraid of it. I'm embracing it because I know where the heck this thing can go. Imagine like a...
So you're going to supply, and you're going to provide, you're going to take it as a tool to supply. You know how it scares the shit out of attorneys.
Of course, it should. But they need to get over it. It's almost like when I remember probably about 30 years ago, I was doing a project in Silicon Valley for American Express and the City National Bank.
You can tell me about this one.
And everything has to be about the data that we had historically about clients who are applying for credit cards more specific. We had to create a program based on the data set, which is not called AI. Those days was a data warehouse, data mining, decision support. There's only 3 levels of those things. We had to come up with the algorithm on your first call to the City National Bank to apply for a credit card with the 85% accuracy, determine when you're going to go bad on your payment. And this is freaking 30 years ago. So imagine what it can do now, or what going to be 30 years from now based on the AI. It's like all of this stuff about depositions and mediations and all this stuff is all going to be like a cyber stuff happening right in front of you.
It reminds me of a movie where it puts a hit out on people before they commit crime.
Right.
It's almost like AI
It's got predictive analysis.
Correct. Based on their childhood,
Right.
based on where they were raised, demographics, anything else, they're going to say, this guy's going to be a criminal. This
Right.
guy's going to be a murderer. And
what will happen to you if your experience included every single PI case history and data in California for past 20 years? How powerful would you be if you were the one involved in every single PI case that got settled in California for past 20 years? It'd be impossible and crazy. But imagine if you were that person. Because that person today is AI.
Yeah. I also think that is as personal injury attorney, we're going up against the insurance companies.
Yes.
What are the insurance companies doing on their end?
Exactly the other side of it is going to they try to manipulate you because they have more data than you do today. So at some point, it's going to be a fair playing ground for the both sides because now it's all going to be on this AI system that's going to, if you're smart enough and prepared enough, you're using it to be on the defense or the plaintiff. You can almost imagine it. There is two AIs negotiating with each other and you guys just standing on the sideline. Right. It's like
what takes us 30, 60 days to negotiate.
Right.
It's like, we just did all that.
Exactly. To the last penny. Yeah. But if you really open up your mind about, if everybody does that, it says that this data-driven industry and technology is going to just take over. And we don't know to what extent. It definitely needs to be regulated, definitely needs to be controlled. Quality control is going to be a big thing. But no matter what is coming, it's almost like when you go online right now with Amazon and order your entire life things on Amazon. Yeah, every once in a while, the wrong shipment comes or gets missing or wrong item arrives. But you pretty much 99% know that whatever you order on Amazon, you're going to get delivered to your place. And you just learn to live like that. Shawn, I want to thank you for joining me today. It's been really great going through this process. Me and you could be sitting here for the next 3 or 4 hours and just going through this. Hopefully we get to do this again. And I'm glad that you are on this AI track. And I think it's going to help you. And based on your knowledge, you can probably help a lot of other PI firms to embrace it and incorporate it into their practice areas. So thanks for being here and let's continue this conversation.
Yeah, you're welcome. And thank you for having me. And what people don't know is we have these conversations all the time. And you have these conversations with other people. I have these conversations with other people, and everybody should be having these conversations because it makes them more aware, lights a fire on in them. They should do something about it. So I agree. No, we were just on camera this time, but we have these conversations all the time, and I think they're productive conversations. Thanks for having me. For anybody that wants to reach out, please do. I'm always available. I like having these conversations. I'm always available to discuss cases, developments, any advice that you need. Reach out to me. You could contact me. Find me on Instagram, social media, Sasooness Law Group, or Shawn Sasooness is my personal account. Reach out to me. I'm available. I'd love to connect. Thanks for having me.
Wonderful. And for those of you who wanted to get a hold of lawpractice.ai is the place to go to find out more about the AI in the law practice, and the LegalSoft also that does many other things, including virtual staffing for the law firms.